Good evening, fair law practitioners. Dr. Colonel Atul Tyagi, advocate, brings before you a narration about the Delhi Gymkhana Club and the saga associated with it. Delhi Gymkhana Club represents exquisite, uncomparable, once upon a time British legacy which carried with it the grandiose mammoth architectural marvel, sophistication, style, and somberness was integral to it. Well, the debate surrounding Delhi Gymkhana Club is no longer merely about a prestigious club. It is it is now evolved into a larger national conversation involving public land, elite privilege, state authority, transparency, institutional legacy, and the changing social character and order of post-liberalization India, that is Bharat. The issue sits at the cusp of legality, morality, governance, and symbolism. The club, which came into existence in 1913 due to the efforts of a British Governor General and seven royals in a pre-independence period who contributed their resource for the for the evolution of this club. When the capital moved from Kolkata to Delhi, after all, the capital had to be given a required shape and form. So many things had to be conjured up. The club occupies prime public land in the heart of Lutyens on a nominal annual lease rent of rupees 1000, a figure that is grossly disproportionate to the commercial and strategic value of the land. The controversy intensified because the sports a social institution as claimed by the members, but an entrenched symbol of India's old power structure, has maintained exclusivity, lineage based privilege, bureaucratic access, military camaraderie, and inherited entitlement. Prime Minister Modi has been giving umpteen signals since 2014 about hammering on British and Lutyens culture and bringing up Bharat and Bhatyata. After all, Rajpath is no longer Rajpath but Kartavyapath. Prime Minister's residence is no longer Pradhan Mantri Niwas but Lok Kalyan Niwas, Lok Kalyan Bhavan. And this way, a lot of signals had already emanated, which the sensitive and the elite lot of Delhi Gymkhana Club refused to take. The first point, which goes in support of the government action, is that the public land cannot become private legacy property. This is the strongest argument. A lease is not ownership. A public property granted for a limited institutional purpose cannot gradually transform into hereditary purpose. The most controversial aspect remains the quasi hereditary transfer of membership. A member's ward has to just fill up a form and show his willingness to become the member. On the other hand, a serving army commander had to wait for 37 years and yet failed because by the time he had withdrawn his membership claim. So, such practices are very difficult to be justified constitutionally as well as legally when the land belongs actually to the public or land belongs to the state. Well, I can say very clearly and confidently that security imperative which has been cited is not really the reason. This is a ploy by the government. Of course, national security considerations override the social convenience, and even the courts cannot interfere in such matters. This is a very set precedence in judiciary. Now, lease conditions are not absolute. The government has given you the land, the government can take back the land. And after all, the government had a very good reason in 2020 to take back the land when Actually, the club body was found involved in the financial fraudulent practices involving rupees 50 crore, and the government had appointed 15-member committee, a body on the orders of NCLT and NCLT. Where is the doubt about it? If corruption, misuse, financial opacity, or deviation from original objectives is established, the government can intervene and it becomes legally sustainable. Well, uh, the club goes completely against social equity. Sports is cited as one important objective, but is actually secondary activity, generally resorted to by the old aged persons. The club has hardly produced a national level or international level player in last 20 years or so. The club argues for the welfare of the employees. Well, no club or nobody actually continues only for the welfare of employees. In fact, in the corridors of Delhi High Court, it became a very laughable issue when Singhvi and Kapil they appeared for Delhi Gymkhana Club, and they had cited one this employees as one party. They should not have done it. After all, the club members, if had to go before the court, they should not have used the shoulders of employees. There are golden handshake policies. When the PSUs come to any closer, even the officials also get golden handshake, and the club elite can always contribute the money for the employees if they are so sympathetic. Well, in Delhi, there is a chain of five-star and three-star hotels, and these employees are well crafted and well trained. They can always get the job. There should not be any worry about it. And this is not a very determinative factor at all. We all can understand that government has not taken the operation of Delhi Gymkhana Club uh, in a very appreciative manner, because there were certain activities which I would not like to quote now here. Well, I can only say that in the national newspaper there is a very elaborate article about the deal of T-72 that time in 80s, which had taken place, and very many clandestine activities had taken place where the CIA was involved, and many diplomatic houses were also involved, where the secret agents were involved, and the villa number 3 has been particularly pointed out where these kind of parlays had taken place, to where CIA actually wanted to have the technology of T-72, which was the most dreaded tank produced by Russia at that time. I will not say more about it because I don't have any authentic information. So like, we all understand that every member is not representing the privilege abuse. Many members are retired military officers, civil servants, professionals, and they mean actually business. They mean good for the club, and portraying every member as a part of exploitative lot will not be a very correct thing altogether. But these members have also not contributed to arrest the malpractices which were going on in the club due to certain members who have already come on the government radar. The contradiction which exists with the club is that the club seeks to project itself as a public interest sports and heritage institution, and an exclusive inheritance oriented private enclave also. These two positions are in conflict of each other. If it is truly public serving, membership should be broad based, access should be transparent, governance should be accountable, sporting contribution manageable and measurable. And if it is effectively private, then the continued occupation of prime public land at symbolic lease rent, that is not to be done. The present crisis arises because the institution appears caught between these two incompatible identities. The larger sociological question, which now affects our mind and attention, the controversy ultimately reflects a transformation in Indian society. Post independence India tolerated elite enclaves because that time, bureaucratic dominance had shifted from British to ICS class. Scarcity defined opportunity. Hierarchy was socially accepted. But contemporary India is different. It is aspirational, it is politically democratized, economically competitive, socially impatient with inherited privilege. The public increasingly questions dynastic access, institutional exclusivity, inherited network, and subsidized privileges. Thus, the Delhi Gymkhana Club debate is less about one club and more about a post colonial elite structure. Can it continue in a democratic mass society? So, in my view, the balanced way forward is a balanced solution lies neither in destruction nor unconditional preservation. Possible reforms can include uh, a transparent membership policy, abolition of hereditary preference, audited governance, measurable public sports contribution, revised release rent, broader access to deserving public servants and athletes who have done something for the nation, then preservation of heritage, architecture, and institutional culture can be a policy, part of policy. The question is not whether legacy should survive. The question is whether legacy can coexist with constitutional equality, transparency, public accountability. That is the real constitutional and moral test before Delhi Gymkhana Club and the government. Well, with this, I bring my narration to the end. You may all have your views about the legacy club in India, the prime most club in India, and the number one club in India. Well, thank you. All the best. Good evening.